All right, so there was a little conversation in the debates, presidential, not the vice presidential, but the presidential debates. Brought up the mail-in voting and about Trump not accepting the outcomes of the election if there's massive mail-in ballot voter fraud. And Biden said, "Oh, there's no evidence for that. That's the fact. There's just no evidence that there's mail-in ballot voter fraud. There's no There's no evidence of any of that." And then Trump quotes off, what about the 400 ballots that were found in a dumpster with my name on it? Oh, come on. That didn't happen. That's what he said. Well, then we have the Project Veritas video. However, the guy that was in the Project Veritas video was saying, "Oh, they paid me. That was staged. It was still fake." Because they found the guy that was in the video. I wonder why he would say that. I was like, okay, well, Project Veritas has done some shady shit in the past, so maybe it's possible it was all faked, I guess. Not likely, but possible. So I got to thinking. Why would you repair a leaky boat? Because there is ways to meddle in the election by your own people. Why would you repair a leaky boat with a bigger hole? What do I mean by that? Well, when you have unsolicited mail come to your house, as we all do in the United States, what does it look like? Do you still get mail for the people that used to live in your house? I do. In fact, I got one 2 days ago for the family that used to live here before I bought this house. In my previous apartments, I'd get mail for the previous tenants, even though, you submit your card to have your mail moved. Fun fact, me and my dad have the exact same name with a different middle initial. I would frequently get his bills. If I ever, and I mean ever, put in a mail request saying, stupid allergies. If I ever put in a request to say that I'm going to a different house, like I was moving or whatever, the mail would start shipping his mail to my address too, while he was alive. Because we both have the same name. And I had a previous address there. So, I'd get his mail along with mine. That seems a trustworthy system, right? If they can't even get that shit right, what makes you think they're going to get a mail-in ballot correct? Well, it just so happens that evidence that we didn't have before, we have now. It's pretty amazing.
I come here to challenge you and see if you're as good as they say you are. Do you want trouble?
Now, it took multiple sources. I had to go through about 10 or 15 to find out a few things about this person. Texas Democrat mayoral candidate charged with fraud in absentee ballot scam. Guess what he was doing that everybody said was impossible? Well, apparently, he was a part of a sting operation because they noticed some weird crap going on. Denton County Sheriff's Office found the P.O. box that had been rented with fake IDs and those names to appear on the requested ballots. They made no such requests to vote by mail. So in other words, these people did not request to vote by mail. Somebody requested for them, and they had it sent to a P.O. box. This dumbass was he went to the P.O. box. They set up surveillance there, and he showed up to get that mail. He was running against the Republican Kevin Falconer. That's a cool name, by the way. That's cool. And he was the Republican incumbent, was pretty much expected to win. So he was stuffing the ballots. He was charged with 84 counts of mail-in ballot application fraud and 25 counts of unlawful possession of office ballot. he can face 20 years in prison. And at the very end, they say the rest comes in rising concern of safety, integrity, and mail-in ballots during contentious election. President Trump has consistently said voting by mail is risky and susceptible to fraud and theft. But the Democrats have encouraged voters to vote by mail, saying such stories are boogeymen invented by conservatives to disenfranchise voters. Just so happens, the boogeyman is a real man, and his name is Zul Mizra Mohammed, now charged with caught in the act of mail-in voter fraud, the stuff that's not supposed to exist.
What do you have to say?
So I find it interesting. There's no evidence of mail-in voter fraud. We have a Project Veritas videos, 300 votes. Doesn't seem like a lot, does it? But when you're in a mayoral contest where it's not really electoral college, it's done by voter count because of the small region, you're talking about mayor of a city. Cities don't do an electoral college by zip code, as far as I know. If you have a coordinated effort, big enough, smarter than this dumbass, to work a way around mail-in voting, you have people pumped up by the media to believe Trump is the absolute worst in the universe. Do you not think they'll cheat to save their democracy? Because it's at threat by Donald Trump. He is the most evil white supremacist ever that has denounced white supremacy for 4 fucking years straight. Yeah. That type of denouncement comes at a heavy cost. He had to give up his Klan robes. Yeah, he gave them up to nobody because he didn't have Klan robes. That's how that works. Yeah, the plugging the leaky vote with a bigger hole always concerned me because the mail can't get shit right in the first place. I don't want to trust them with my vote either. That's absurd. I would never do that. I can't trust them with fucking getting my mail right, for hell's sake. Losing packages when they shouldn't. Their tracking system for packaging is atrocious. They can't even get packages tracked right when UPS and their other competitors do a billion times better. I mean, for hell's sake, there are 250-year-old or 200-year-old, somewhere around there, institution. One of the few socialist programs in the United States. The means of production, communication at that time would be mail, owned by the state. You wanted a letter sent, it goes through the post office. There was no alternative. Until the telephone. Until internet. There was no alternative. You wrote. I'm old enough to have what you might call a pen pal. These days, you might call it a friend on the internet from random country. I had a German pen pal and a French pen pal. I honestly don't remember either one of their names, to be honest, but they're, the French one? Oh, wow, was she cute. I remember what she looked like all too well. Wow, was she beautiful. I also remember she asked me in French if I have a girlfriend and then stopped talking to me. When I said yes at the time, because I did. I wasn't going to lie. Anyways, long tangent. Cut it short. I'm not going to trust the mail-in voter fraud, ballot stuck crap. I'm just not. There's no point in voting by mail. Not for me, not for anyone else. When I can walk 2 blocks, not even that, I can walk to my polling station. Because Texas was smart enough to open a lot of polling stations. Of voter stations. They can't get shit right and they want us to trust them. And it's flawed because it's all manual. Somebody's carrying something. It'd be easy for that to be manipulated. That's why I think the Democrats want to push for it. They failed at Russia. They failed at the Ukraine. They failed at the impeachment. They failed at the deep state internal fucking mess of Russiagate and Ukrainian phone call that's evil gate. And God, everything fucking else they've tried to do has not worked either. They've called him racist for 4 years. That doesn't seem to work. They've called him names. They've tried to remove him. It's weird because I remember in the 2016 presidential debates, the same question was asked about transfer of power and would you be okay if the other person won? The Democrats have always said, yeah, if it's we got a fair election and just get out there and vote. And of course, I'll trust and transfer power in a fair election. Hillary's word was, after Trump said, I'll wait and see. That's what he said. I'll wait and see, what the election is and how it goes out. I'll wait and see. I'm not going to tell you. That's what he said. Everybody thought that was shady as fuck. I kind of agree, actually. It was kind of shady as fuck at the time. But then learning that they were spying on his campaign to try and undermine him in the first place, saying he had Russian ties and shit like that, when they started lying and smearing all of a sudden, it's like, okay, wait a second. Where'd that fuck that come from? And then Hillary said, well, quite frankly, I'm appalled and terrified that he would not consider a peaceful transition of power. And what has she done for the last 4 years? Bitch about how she won in her mind, and she's been robbed of the presidency. Yeah, she totally had a peaceful transition and wished the other person best by lying for the last 3.5, 4 years about Russia bot interference fucking Facebook ads. It's rather pathetic. Yeah, totally believe that that's going to happen when they can't even uphold their own statements, much like in the VP debates, but that's a video for another time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link in the description. The only place that I found where this guy's political affiliation was is in an article called from the town hall. I went 10 different sites. I went to the place where he registered, the county, the city, I think, and tried to look up what political affiliation he had registered. Wasn't even there either. And every other site that's talking about it does not list his political affiliation. And I think it's because the Democrats are claiming that this kind of thing doesn't happen. But here it is, somebody doing it for the Democrats. For himself, actually. He was the one running for mayor. It wasn't some activist group trying to help him out. No, this guy was cheating for himself. He got caught, and he was the one running for mayor. That's pathetic. Anyways, I'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff, and I'll catch you next time.
Ha 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 ha!